damn it. Every week this thing breaks down.
Jacob, what are you playing over there?
Literacy.
Oh, I fucking hate this computer!
Isn't that the game from the company we did that interview with? Live in the Game?
Yeah, it's actually really freaking good. I just got it on the Azure store, and tonight I'm gonna download it on Steam.
Critical error, what does that even mean?
It's not like shovelware, is it?
Dude, not at all. It's a small passionate team who just wanted to release a badass game. It's actually a lot of fun.
Is it free?
Yep.
Fuck you, computer!
Is it on iOS App Store?
Yep.
Die in a fire!
Is it fun?
Dude, hell yeah.
Lunacy from Live in the Game. Download it today on Steam, Android, and iOS. Fuck that mic. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Downright Fierce Gaming. My name is Josh Asensio. With me is...
Ariana.
And...
Lewis.
It's so weird. Normally, I'm used to Jacob going, Jacob Alexander Blake III, King of Hugs, King of Duval. What's up, motherfuckers? I'm here. I'm Jacob, and you already know me.
He's trying to make that catch, and it is just not catching enough for him.
I know him as the King of Hugs.
He is the King of Hugs. Long may he reign.
Long may
until
he
he moves
reign.
to Orlando.
Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, that was a thing. Yeah.
It's still happening.
Yep.
I better not. We kind of need him.
Oh, okay.
He's our.
He'll visit still.
If we had a mascot, I think it'd be Jacob.
It's definitely Jacob.
Yeah.
He's our bard.
he is our bard. He is our bard. So we are a video game podcast. Talk about video games, and we're going to start with, if you didn't know that already, 35 episodes in. Oh, and actually, before we start with the news, I would like to make an official announcement. As of actually, it's already been official, but now we are announcing it. Ariana is joining the podcast officially with officialness.
Yes, we're in here. We them boys.
We are them boys.
Plus one girl.
Plus one girl. That's pretty much it. And you know, I wrote you an awesome intro. Did I ever read you the intro?
No.
I'll read it to you later. I wrote you an awesome intro for the panel when I thought all of us were going to be there. And I'm not trying to say that against, the two people who weren't there, and Brandon. But it was a pretty cool intro. I think you like it.
One day we should do that.
Yeah. But before we do that, because there's going to be a lot of stuff we do before that, let's start with Fierce News! I just realized, I'm like, oh, hey, I should have been like, oh, guys, we're going to make air guitar sounds with our mouths.
We hopped right on there.
It was commitment.
We did not have a
was.
bass line, though.
I appreciate...
All guitar.
I appreciate, though, that you guys both jumped on it with, like, going cold on that. Like, just, you both jumped on it. I remember, actually, it was you and Tristan.
We don't do it. If it's me and Tristan, it's
That's
not
the thing.
happen.
And I'm like, no, we always do it every week.
Slowly die on your own.
It was super embarrassing, especially doing that at the convention with nobody can hear the explosions, nobody can hear the guitar, kind of like we can't hear it now, but we know that that's a thing. And so it's just me and Jacob making guitar sounds with our mouths and everybody looking at us super confused. So that was a good time. Anyways, Fierce News is brought to you by Pomade and Tonic. They are located in Jacksonville. If you want a great haircut, go to Pomade and Tonic. They have 2 locations, and make sure you talk to Farrell because he is awesome, and he owns the place, and he's great, and he's a friend of the podcast. So the first news, actually, I want to read this. Carolina, hi, Ariana. You're one of my favorites. Josh is okay, too.
Yeah, Ariana, people love me. Just working
got
out.
fans.
Okay, Josh. Now.
Okay, Josh. Hashtag Josh is wrong. Hashtag Josh is okay. Hashtag CEO of IO Interactive, the developer of Hitman, Hakan Abrak, has confirmed that a new entry in the series is in development. First of all, this should not be a shock. I mean, they recently acquired the rights to Hitman from Square, and I mean, that's basically all they have. I mean, they have probably Freedom Fighters or something like that, but they specifically wanted Hitman, so we knew that there was going to be another one, but it's good to hear that it is officially in development. The most recent entry in the franchise, which came out in 2016, is getting a Game of the Year edition, which adds an additional episode's worth of playable content alongside new items and visual and mechanical upgrades. In an open letter to the community, Abrak celebrated the milestone of 7 million Hitman players for Season 1, and although no details were given on the next entry for the series, Abrak reports that the team is making great progress and promises exciting new features and some franchise firsts. Probably loot boxes. That would be a first.
You're gonna save people too.
Yeah, beard. You can pay $1 to add beard and hair to Agent 47.
It's gonna end up being like a redemption story or something.
Yeah. He did mention that fans shouldn't expect to hear anything else about the game until some point in 2018. Did either of you play Season 1?
No.
I mean, it's funny because, you know, episode 1 comes out and it got kind of reviews. Everyone was like, I mean, it's okay, it's Hitman, but it's nothing special. And with every episode coming out, they're like, oh, wow, this is, I mean, we're getting like basically a new game with every single episode. And people were, you know, were pretty stoked on this. So I'm glad.
It did well.
Yeah, me too. I might pick up the Game of the Year edition. I don't know. We'll
Maybe.
see.
I think the last time I played Hitman was like Xbox. Original Xbox.
Nice. I actually have
And
that.
I didn't finish it. I don't know why. It wasn't that it was a bad game. I was just like playing other things at the time. I think like Halo 2 came out and that was just my
Oh,
life
that'll
for a
kill
while.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
In other news, Take-Two, the publisher behind the upcoming Red Dead Redemption 2 game, announced that it will be launching a new entry in one of 2K's major franchises in its next fiscal year. This is going to be between April 2018 and March 2019. In Take-Two's earning reports, they said, looking ahead, we expect fiscal 2019 to be a record year for net bookings and new cash provided by operating activities led by the upcoming launches of Rockstar's games Red Dead Redemption 2 and a highly anticipated new title from one of 2K's biggest franchises. So there's basically only 2 games that can be referring to. Either the video game industry's worst kept secret, Borderlands 3, which we all know that's going to happen.
Border Worlds.
Border Worlds? I would play it too. I would hate the name, but if it was like fun, I'd play it.
Here's the thing. I want it to be Borderlands 3, and then the 4th one, I want it to be Forderlands.
Oh, yeah.
Borderlands. So
like
they have to
that.
have a regular title for 3. That's the agreement that I struck with them.
Mm-hmm. It's
That's
gonna
the
be
whole thing.
interesting to see what they do with Borderlands 3 because I don't want to like say spoilers people who haven't played any of the other ones, but I'm interested to see what direction they're going to take it.
Yeah.
And if you haven't played the Telltale Tales from the Borderlands, it is phenomenal.
I mean,
It is so good.
expanding past just being on one planet seems like the next step.
Kind of like
And with the technology they have, they could do it
Oh, easily.
well.
I mean, even if they do it in hub worlds, I'd be fine with
Hub
that. We
worlds
don't
are
need a
fine.
no man's
No, I don't
land
mean
kind
like
of,
endless, but a certain set, like one, like solar system would be perfect.
Because, I mean, when you're expanding on Borderlands, like, there's really only a couple things you can expand on. As far as graphics go, I mean, they have made some progressive
But it's
things
cell
like that.
shaded,
But
so it's always going to look good. It's never going to look bad.
And as long as I can always tip Moxie, I'm fine, pretty much.
And so I mean I think you're absolutely right with that. It's the worlds that would be the most difficult to create. So maybe that's why it's taking them so long, is that they are expanding different worlds, and that'd be
And I
really
mean,
cool.
Borderlands 2 wasn't a small game
No.
before the DLC dropped. Yet alone counting everything they put in with that.
Yeah.
And every area they do is so varied and different. They could just separate that into a bigger expanse world-wise, and you
weird.
could hop around from place to place depending on what kind of mission you're doing, what guns you're hunting, or what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would also be, I don't know, like, the staple of being in Pandora is such a big part of the game
That's true,
that's
yeah.
why going from place to place would just kind of be, it would be weird to be in a Borderlands game and not be in Pandora, like the way
Well, maybe it starts in Pandora, and then what if Pandora blows up?
it should.
That'd be
It's a
so
terrible
cool.
place.
It's a very bad place.
And you go to the pieces of Pandora that crash
Oh wow!
although most of those planets would be
Can
dead.
you please
Yeah, I mean,
email 2K and
seriously.
just drop that?
No,
for
got
throw
you.
science away. Throw science away. Borderlands is not about science. None of this shit makes sense, okay? But
No.
like that
It's
is
not a part of Borderlands.
God damn, that is a genius idea. I love it.
I would
And
play the hell out of
and then Kyle actually had a good idea. Borderlands, he spelled Borderlands, but with the instead of an E, it's a 3. And for the announcement, what if they had that? They had Borderlands on the screen, and then the E turns around into a 3. Ooh.
I'll sue them if they don't put your idea in. I'll sue the balls
Do the hell
off
out of that.
Yeah. And that's one possibility. Again, we know that that's happening, but another possibility would be Bioshock. 2K owns Bioshock, which is getting a special collector's edition this month to celebrate the original game's 10th anniversary.
Ooh.
So
Always buy Bioshock.
I mean, it's the last one was great. I remember actually our executive producer Brian Kaminsky, he didn't play any of the Bioshock games, and he's like, I'm just gonna plow through them. And he's playing the first one. I'm like, oh, how close are you to the end? He's like, I guess I'm almost there. And I go, all right, just would you kindly let me know when you're finished? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, would you kindly let me know when you're finished? I heard you. No, I get it from the game. And then he texts me. He's like, would you kindly? Oh my God! Would you kindly?
I honestly feel like that was one of the best storyline plot lines in a video game, because after you stopped and thought about how many times you said it, and then when you play it a second time, and you're like, son of
I mean, it's in your head. Spoilers for Bioshock. If you haven't played Bioshock, then plug your ears or whatever. But, the fact that it is in your head, it's revealed that every time that was your like not code word, your trigger that he would say, "Would you kindly?" and then you would just do it. And then as a gamer, the prompt comes up on the screen and you just do it. I mean, yeah, it's not a non-linear story, so you have to progress the game. But as a gamer, you have to do that. Otherwise, you're not playing a game. You're just sitting in a room, you're like shooting at the wall.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I mean, I just thought that was genius. And hopefully, Bioshock Infinite was good. I liked it. It was fun. I mean, it wasn't... the ending was great.
At people.
Yeah, the ending was, was all right. And hopefully, maybe it's that. Maybe it's more likely Borderlands. But, I mean, that is a possibility.
I mean, could get both.
It could be.
We could be surprised by both.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, 2 Bs in a row. Let's see.
Yeah. So speaking of Take-Two, Grand Theft Auto 5 has broken a new record. It has shipped 85 million copies, making it the U.S.'s best-selling video game ever in terms of units sold and revenue, which means I have to update that trivia question I wrote a long time ago, which the answer was originally it was Tetris, and then it went to Minecraft, and now it is Grand Theft Auto 5.
That is a hell of a jump. Tetris, Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
Tetris held on to that for a long time.
That's true.
It did.
And PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is probably... maybe not on its, heel or whatever, because, I mean, that's 85 million, and they hit 20... Was it 20 or 15 or one of those? But, I mean, they're jumping up pretty high.
Whoa, he actually knows it.
What?
Oh, the,
What
thing? The longing rusted furnace.
I don't know what that means.
Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking, I was like, that code? I suck at codes.
So, according to Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick, GTA 5 has been on 42 out of 50 NPD monthly top 10 charts since the game came out. They have the top 10 best-selling games, and every week, Grand Theft Auto is on that, and it's amazing because it came out in 2013.
Well, everyone who skipped it then is just slowly picking it up. I'm still having people come and like, "Hell, you played Grand Theft Auto 5?" And I'm like, I had it at one point, but this was way before...
the online
DLC or the online dropped, and I just like all Grand Theft Auto games, I tell myself I'm gonna be able to get through this really great story, and I get so bored I just notice I'm sitting there shooting cops and like running around doing dumb stuff, and I'm like, well, I'm done with this game. And I never touched it again.
So you argue with me about how I play Bethesda games, but then you don't even know the story for Grand Theft Auto 5.
I know the story. I couldn't finish it.
Okay.
No, it was
All right,
boring.
that's different.
That's
this is a long-standing thing between me and Lewis.
And the only online thing I played from Grand Theft Auto was when it first came out, and I was having all those issues, and then I kind of gave up on it.
Rough drop.
Yeah.
And this is also the most appearances of any single game on the NPD's rankings. So, and then Mark, the scribe, says 20 million copies sold of PUBG as of November 7th.
That is ridiculous.
I mean, the game came out like this year, right? I think it was this year. 20
this
million copies. So, I mean, times that by 7. If it keeps selling like Grand Theft Auto 5, then that's 140.
And the Xbox release is coming.
Or 4. It'd be times 4. So 80. Actually, it couldn't even outsell it even if it kept the trend. If it was 1 year and then 4 years ago Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, then it would still only hit 80 million. That's nuts.
I'll say PUBG is getting this Xbox release soon too.
That's true. That it's going to sell a lot of copies with that too. So another game that thankfully sold super well was Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, one of my favorite games of this year. It sold 4.1 million copies, making it the publisher's 7th best-selling game of all time. Now, guess what game is at the top of that list? This is Capcom. So the best-selling Capcom game. Go. Ari, you go first.
Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yeah, I was just gonna go Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or 3,
Marvel, baby.
but I've been conditioned.
Resident Evil 5.
5?
What?
Resident Evil 5 is the best-selling Capcom game.
Coming off 4, I wouldn't be surprised by a bunch of people going crazy and buying it first thing.
And 4 didn't come out for the Sony and Microsoft consoles until I think after 5.
I guess that would have a lot of impact on it.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted to play a 4 experience, which honestly everybody craps on 5. I loved 5.
5 was 5. If you were just playing a Resident Evil game, 5 was fine. If you were trying to play the same game you played as 4,
oh yeah, no, it doesn't compare.
5 was an extremely fun co-op. It was
really
ridiculously fun co-op.
I had a great time playing.
It's definitely more fun than 6, that's for sure.
I didn't even bother with it. I played the demo, and the demo didn't even sell me.
It was fun to kick zombies and somehow survive kicking zombies for that long in the hallway.
Yeah, I wasn't about that.
But 5, I would not have expected that at all. I mean, 5 was really fun. I just wouldn't.
It was, I mean, like Lewis said, it was a really great co-op. I mean, that's how I played the entire game. I played it with my buddy in co-op, and we just had a blast. It was really good. Moving on, through a new initiative through Sony, you can now earn PSN credit while playing games. Click here for more information. I feel like that's clickbait.
It's definitely clickbait.
I feel like that's clickbait. That's completely clickbait. It's exactly how it sounds, though. Recently launched, the Sony reward system now allows players to register their achievements in return for PSN credit. So 100 silver trophies gets you 100 points. 25 gold trophies gets you 250 points, and then 10 platinum trophies gives you 1,000 points. 1,000 points will give you $10 in PSN credit. Now, unfortunately, this is not something that you can retroactively do. If you have like 1 billion platinum trophies, you can't just cash those in right now. It's only from when it started, which I believe it already has started. But I don't know. You know, we talked about this a little bit before the podcast. I am definitely not a trophy hunter at all. I just think that that's a cool little incentive to go after trophies, because before that it was just bragging rights, but nobody I know cares about trophies and how many they have.
I know people who have like full boosting sessions set up, like he's playing the most ridiculous old games just to get the trophies and stuff to set up platinums, and I'm like, that doesn't sound fun, but if you enjoy it.
But for the rest of us now, I mean, even if you can't, you can't look at this as a way to make money. I mean, obviously it's not even real money, but it's not even it's just a little kind of incentive. And the fact that if I'm playing a game and I see, that I platinum something, I'm like, oh, cool, I got $1 off of that. Yeah. That's nice. Like,
I guess over time something like that would build up, but I just don't have time to like try and grind out
that is the problem too,
trophy.
One thing it's good for is kids.
Cool, but now,
like kids could definitely like feel that and be like, oh, I can get a game if I really play and beat the shit out of this game. Like if I slam it down and just get through everything. Oh, I do that with like 10 of my games or like most of my games. I can get a whole $10 and throw that towards something.
Exactly.
That's true. My brothers, they're completionists. Like every game that they get every single trophy. So that's something. Then they can stop going into my damn PSN and just like, oh, an email alert. Thank you for buying something. Hello, what did you just buy?
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty excited, and we'll give it a shot and see if it's good stuffs. And then Mark Mayfield says these 5 ways to earn PSN credit will surprise you, especially number 4. I like it. So Guillermo del Toro, who was working with Hideo Kojima on the never to be released Silent Hills game, spoke to IGN about their upcoming title, Death Stranding. Now, before we go into that, I did something.
Oh, Guillermo was actually on it?
Huh? Yeah, Guillermo del Toro is working with Hideo Kojima.
After PT at first, he said he was going to swear off video games. He was so pissed because he'd gotten burned so many times. So I'm glad that happened.
Yeah.
So I didn't want
and Norman Reedus, too. Like, they're all doing it.
I knew Norman was in.
So
he was in the trailer.
I did something. I don't know if this is like a good thing or a bad thing. I had a buddy. I'm like, hey, have you ever heard of PT? He's like, no. I'm like, oh, shit. Because I got it back on my PS4. By the way, if you had PT at one time on your PS4 and you don't have it anymore, I know a way to do it, and I finally got it back, and it's awesome.
I'm not okay with that.
What?
I think about it because I watched.
Have you played it?
I watched my friend, and I literally ran out of the room. I was like, "To hell with this!" My black card is like, just get the fuck out.
I think we just discovered a new extra content that we can record.
Are you playing PT?
Are you playing PT? Anyways, we'll talk about that later. So he didn't even know what PT was, but he's kind of a casual gamer. Okay. So I sat him down. I'm like, you got to play this game. It's fantastic. And I walked him through it. I walked him so that way we can beat the game in like an hour rather than trying to figure out the puzzles. And then I did the last part for him because I memorized it. And then he's watching the cinematic at the end. And then it says Hideo Kojima. He's like, wait, why do I know that name? Guillermo del Toro. Wait, what? Norman Reedus. What is this? And then Silent Hill pops up, and he goes, "What the fuck? Oh my god!" And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like,
"You had to break it."
And I let him live in that moment for a little bit. In fact, I waited a second, and then I told him, I'm like, I want you to live in this moment as long as you possibly can. He goes, what? I'm like, just enjoy that this is a possibility for right now. He goes, okay, I'm enjoying it. I'm like, this game's never coming out. And he just looks at me with the saddest eyes. He's like, why not? I'm like, freaking Konami fired Hideo Kojima, so like this game's never happening, and if it ever does,
Pachinko games.
yeah, I mean,
Right?
and if it ever does, it
don't
won't be as good as it could have been. So, and he told me that has messed him up like for weeks.
I love that you let him have that moment and you
I
watch
wanted-
the light leave his eyes.
Yeah.
Like, I respect that.
I didn't do it
already.
maliciously. I
I felt bad
just,
because
I wanted him to be happy before I tore him
I would have
down.
let him know, like, hey, no, this game ain't actually coming out. Just enjoy what you're playing.
So there are two kinds of people.
Well, but wasn't it a great feeling thinking that game was going to be a
Yeah,
thing?
I was super hyped.
I don't want to take that away from
Yeah, I
him.
understand that.
It is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. So it is
I
better
just
to
feel like
believe
you're
that
very
PT was a
renegade.
thing than never to believe that
I
was
just
something at all.
believe that you're just trying to convince yourself that it would have been better to give him that happiness than.
I'm already convinced. I'm convincing you. As he
He's
points to
already
the
done
camera.
it. He doesn't have any choice but to
Yeah,
stick with
it's
his
true.
faith.
Oh my god, that's so
true.
Otherwise, this
hurtful.
man will be stuck awake at night. Thinking about what could have been.
Oh, I
damage he
can't wait
could
to
have
play
not
PT.
caused.
That's gonna be so good.
Damn, that just that hurt me.
There is a third type of person, Ari. The person who lets that friend leave the house without telling them PT
Oh,
isn't
that's
coming
totally
out.
me. I would have let them figure it out on their own. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I wanted to be there and hold him if he needed afterwards to, because what if he found that out by himself and then he's crying alone like the rest of us had to do?
Then a part of him has died. The weaker part is dead, and he's stronger now. See,
That's
there
true.
are 3 types of people. You're absolutely right.
You can't trial by fire everything.
So Guillermo del Toro told IGN that it's been great as a friendship, and it's been great as a learning experience. In Death Stranding, I'm just a puppet. I don't know what he's going to make me do. He's supposedly going to show me the gameplay at some point in the next couple of weeks. That's why I pulled the news story. The rest is just like him, jerking off Hideo Kojima. But I mean, it's
That was a great mental image for the kids.
yeah. The fact that there is I understand it's just going to be alpha stuff. It's not going to look good. But the fact that there is gameplay, that's good. I like that. Even though this game's coming out in 2025, that's awesome to hear. He also mentioned PT. He said, my most rewarding experience was to know him and help him realize PT, which never happened on Silent Hills. Oh.
Did you mean for that?
Yeah, that's my thing now. I've been throwing the papers on the ground.
Okay, for a second I was like, he was just really casual about that.
In other news, CD Projekt Red, developer of the Witcher franchise, has responded to inquiries on a possibility of a Witcher 4 game. They said no.
So you're okay with just Witcher 4? No, but
Nope.
PT, let's give him a moment
No.
to enjoy it.
Well, I mean,
Break it
yeah,
to
it's
him
not
easy.
happening. It's not happening. CD Projekt CEO Adam Kiesinski explained the Witcher trilogy is definitively finished. He did say, however, that since the company still owns the IP, they will probably, quote, probably return to the world of The Witcher because both fans and investors would be disappointed if they didn't. What I want to see is them. What was the blonde chick in that?
Siri.
Siri,
I
that's
was
right.
I honestly only originally picked up 3 because I saw Siri. I played 1 and 2, but I was like, okay, Witcher 3, that sounds cool. But I was obsessed with Siri.
And then they let you play as her a little bit in Witcher 3, and I think that game, if you had an entire game focused only around her, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be a great game.
10 out of 10 would pre-order, which I don't do anymore.
And I don't even think they need to build a new world, build anything like that. It could be like a standalone expansion to Witcher, kind of like Dead Island did. Why not just,
okay.
and people would buy it because Witcher is fantastic.
Yeah.
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 I need to beat that game.
I don't think that's possible. It's kind of like Skyrim.
I bought Witcher 3 with the season pass day 1 for supporting, and I just kind of sat there like, yeah, I'm gonna play this Diablo because I ain't got enough time to actually finish you.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Witcher, I mean, I highly recommend it. So that is it for the news. We are going to go into our next segment right after this commercial. Last 3 questions of 20 questions. Go.
Did it come out for PC, iOS, and Android?
Yes.
Do you play as Cthulhu on the run after stealing the moon?
Yes.
Do you use the moon to influence the waves and avoid missiles and jagged rocks?
Yes.
Does it have a main campaign, endless runner mode, and is it totally free to download?
Yes.
Is it Lunacy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Super long.
All right. We are back. So since it was so popular,
We missed you.
Absolutely.
Since it was so popular last time we did it, I'm going to go back 10 years ago again and go over the November 1997 issue of GamePro magazine.
I was 7 years old.
You were 7 years old. I was
1997? Yeah.
1997. I
I
was
was a wee babu.
9. No, wait, hold on. I was born in 11. I was 11 years old. And if you're curious what that cover looks like, there it is, right there. Look at that.
Oh my god.
Culture shock.
Look at that.
I was
freaking
4.
You were 4? Oh my god.
We're all actually
Do you-
4 years apart. You were 4, I was 7.
Do you even know who that lady is?
Yes, I played a bunch. I played a bunch of Tomb Raider.
Do you know why
and
she's so
Water
angry?
Stages sucked. She had to fight dinosaurs.
Yeah,
You'd be angry
Laura
too.
Croft was doing some crazy shit. Are you kidding
I
me?
didn't never know why I was shooting a dinosaur because I paid no attention
Because
to
it was
the
gonna
story
kill you
that day.
first. That's why you were shooting the
I
fucking
was
dinosaur.
I was like 5. My stepdad had all the Tomb Raiders, and he just let me play them. So I'd be playing. I'm like, yeah, okay. For some reason, that guy's floating in green. Whatever. I'm gonna just trap this butler into the freezer so I can walk around this mansion and not get creeped out.
So the first letter is that I'm going to go over is the saddest image of the time we were living in 1997. This is from Deanna in Santa Barbara, California. I read your magazine regularly, and my biggest concern is this. Where are the video games for smart girls like myself? The last chick game that was any good was Tomb Raider, and although the big busted Lara Croft was extremely sexist, it was the only game I played that starred a strong central female character. I'm thinking of doing a term paper on why there are so few female characters in video games today, and I was wondering if any top-rated games had lead female characters. Now, that is, that was a thing at the time. That was absolutely. But their response.
Oh, I'm ready.
Like, okay, I feel like today, if somebody wrote that, like, hey, there's no, female strong characters. Now, yes, there are,
Oh,
but
you
like,
can slap that down easy.
but if you were trying to excuse that today, you'd be like, hey, look, yeah, that's terrible that we live in this world. Like, this is not good. There should be, and we agree with you. This isn't a good thing, blah, blah, blah. Here's what they say.
Okay.
I'm going to try to do this in the most chauvinistic, condescending way
Oh,
possible.
I'm gonna try and hold in my anger and my power level.
Think about it, sweetheart. No, they don't say that.
I was ready to go.
Think about it, Deanna. The video game industry basically runs on teen testosterone. Teenage males and former teenage males who still think like teenage males who are in positions of influence with little quality female interaction, making games for other teenage males. A character like Lara Croft might have made it if she were Larry Croft, but as you pointed out, Lara has a certain appeal to go along with some solid programming and challenging gameplay. That's not to say there aren't a large number of brave female characters out there. Resident Evil, for example, co-stars like zombie zapping woman warrior. Also, look at almost any good RPG, you'll find quality female sprites. Until more women get into game design and girls start big-time game buying, teen testosterone will rule.
Teen testosterone.
Ooh, that is painful.
Okay.
Games for fapping.
I think we should step back and let Ari just let it out.
That is so goddamn infuriating, especially since even, like, I remember being younger and Tomb Raider was really one of the only ones that we saw. And there were other females in other video games, obviously, but they were always just side characters. Like, I loved Devil May Cry, but, you're not going to think of Trish when you think of Devil May Cry, even though Trish
Or
is
her
pretty
giant
cool.
tits.
Yes, her giant jigglies.
Yeah.
But that is... Man, I think I would have, if I had read that, I probably would have, like, never subscribed to them again. Or anything, which...
And I mean, what he's saying is true. I mean, that's the thing. Like, at the time, nerd culture hadn't hit yet. So, like, nerd culture, it is not cool to play video games. And the majority, like 97%, I bet, of the gamers were men. And everything he's saying is true. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you should defend it.
Definitely
Explain it. That's defending it, what he's doing right now.
That's absolutely defending it.
Explain. Be like, hey, look, this is like the situation we're in, and it's not okay. And I agree. Hey, maybe you should go into game development, change the world. You're the future, all that stuff. As opposed to just saying, oh no, I mean, there's Resident Evil. That's it. RPGs where you can create your own female powerful character. Like that's it. You know,
so
using
pissed
this
off
as
right
examples.
now.
Come on. You know, Carolina says Taki from Tekken. She was the shit. Yeah, I mean there were, but I mean, and I think they were focusing more on like central characters because there were fighting characters, there were different things like that, but like story based central characters, there was like nothing.
And then when you said Larry Croft, I was like, oh, you mean
Croft.
Nathan Drake? 'Cause that's basically, I was like, hold it in and let him officially communicate Nathan Drake. Wow, that is. I'm gonna look that up later and send him like a shitty email.
So the next one is from Matt DeVilbis in Lima, Ohio. Not Peru. Lima, Ohio. And I'm going to do this in the voice that I imagine Matt speaks in.
Yes, I have 3 questions I want answered. First, do you need to have a 64DD to play Zelda 64? Second, how come video game companies or GamePro don't hire kids? I mean, we know what a good game is. I notice a lot of games are garbage because of stupid mistakes. It's not the game's fault, it's the fault of the people who made it. Why don't they hire me or some of my friends? We have lots of ideas for new games. I guarantee you I could guide a company to stardom almost as well as Nintendo's Game Pro Shigeru Miyamoto.
Woo.
Well, listen here, little fucking Maddie. You don't know shit about video games. You don't know fucking anything. You just play video games. I think a game where you could, like, honestly, I had a buddy who, he's like, I know the perfect game that would sell millions of copies. And this is back when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. He's like, it's exactly like Grand Theft Auto 3, but like, there's this dog faction and a cat faction. You could choose a side and you play out this war, but the difference is you can go into any building you see. I'm like, well, yeah, that'd be fantastic, but that's not technically possible. He goes, why? You can go into buildings in other games. Just do that with this game. I'm like, no, you don't understand what you're saying right now. Like, that's not a thing. That sounds like this kid. Like,
Yeah.
you know what, Mario's great,
that.
but why not make it 3D, make it live action, and then like add like special effects and stuff, and just get, you know, none of what you're saying. You don't know the game industry.
No, you're a
from
kid.
the-
You don't even pay bills.
From the Pokemon side, it is seeing someone say, let's get a game with all regions where you go through every gym, and then every person who ever played a Pokemon game is like, you can't do that and balance it unless you just want to walk around at level 100 for like 3 regions. You just can't make games.
If you did find a
however
way to
you
do
want.
that, I would love to go to every region.
You can go to every region, but you couldn't do it like main
No,
story every region.
Unless your Pokemon gets like level 1,000, which I'm just not about that grind.
Yeah. So their response was, we agree to respond to your demands. Number 1, no. To the
Zelda 64, 64DD.
number 2, because kids can't drive themselves to work.
No,
Hold on,
Uber, you son of a bitch.
let me do that. Number 2, because kids can't drive themselves to work. And number 3, companies won't hire you or your friends because they think you'll steal everything. That's what they said. Seriously, though.
What the hell are these right?
Seriously, though, some game companies do hire kids as game testers. But if you think you have a good idea or suggestion, don't call us. Call your favorite game company directly. That's it for them.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Next one is from Brad Ball in Novi, Michigan.
His last name's Ball.
Balls.
I'm an adult.
Oh man, I wish I didn't waste my nerd voice on this guy. I'm trying to conjure another.
I'm still mad about the
Nerd
first
voice.
one. I'm gonna go to bed mad tomorrow morning. I'm gonna be mad about that.
Okay, I got one for this. I got this.
I own a Saturn, and I'm angered by the lack of attention it's getting. In issue 107, I saw 3 advertisements for Saturn games. Everywhere else I looked, I saw games for the PlayStation. Why?
That was the best I could do with that one. I'm sorry.
I wonder who chose which ones to respond to. Like, whose job was it? Like, man, this is dumb.
Like,
as
that's
hell.
the best fucking letter you got. That's the best letter you got. And Mark said, do the comic book guy.
Yes, I own a Saturn, and
Hold on.
I own a Saturn, and I'm angered by the lack of attention it is getting. In issue 10,
I can't do it.
I haven't watched South Park.
So they I swear to God, their responses.
Heathen.
Yeah, it was.
Comic book
I was just gonna
guy
let it
is
slide.
Simpsons.
I was gonna let it slide.
Whatever. Fuck you. Fuck you.
So their response, Hey, killer. We own a Saturn, and we're angered by the lack of good games that are available. No one can give extensive attention to a game system unless game makers are supporting it with new games, and not a lot of companies are backing the third-place Saturn right now. However, that's not to say that some interesting things won't be happening for the Saturn in the future. For the audio listeners, I'm shaking my head no at the camera. Capcom has announced that X-Men vs. Street Fighter will be a Saturn exclusive, and all of Working Designs RPGs are only available on Saturn. And they're starting to work on a future console called, codenamed Black Belt. Do you know what that console is? It's going to be the savior of Sega. Dreamcast.
It could have been the savior of Sega.
It could have been.
It was so ahead.
But it wasn't.
It was so ahead.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's it for the letters and stuff. Now I'm going to move on to some reviews that they wrote for games that came out. One of them is a little game called Nightmare Creatures. So I feel like this is all better if we show gameplay footage of Nightmare Creatures while I read this review, because going back in time and looking at old games and all the stuff they said about it is just, this is just fantastic. Now keep in mind, yes, this is 20 years ago, and I just realized I said it was 10 years ago. That wouldn't be a thing. We're going back 20 years, because 10 years ago would be 2007. This is 20 years ago.
Those character models.
Yeah, right? If you're listening to this audio, you should watch the video on youtube.com/DownRFierceGaming. So,
oh, look, a female character. Sorry.
You do exist. Also, Parasite Eve.
That, yes.
Did that? Yeah, no, I think, yeah, you're right.
Parasite Eve,
yeah, you're right.
definitely.
Parasite Eve. So out of 5, it gives it a 5 for graphics. They say, great gory gods! Creatures' graphics are precise and to the point. Pun intended. I don't get that. To the point?
Maybe because you
Everything's
can
goddamn
possibly
geometric.
stab them?
I don't know. Although not as detailed as Resident Evil's, they still have some very nice touches.
I would have played this.
This ain't the worst.
This is basically Dark Souls before.
Yeah, I saw the werewolf
yeah.
and I thought of like Bloodborne and Dark Souls.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm definitely not saying right now that this was a bad game or one that, you can't play now. But to call that 5 out of 5 for graphics is just kind of silly to look
They
back
lived in a different time.
Yeah, I know. It was
totally
20
different
years
era.
ago. It was 20 years ago.
Some of those blocks look different from the other blocks for the wall.
That's a really
That's
big,
true.
That was a big jump too.
That's true.
I kind of want to like go and get this on an emulator and try it out.
I think actually I might have it. I don't know. We'll have to look at that. So we got a 4.5 for control. The constant camera movements sometimes leave you in the lurch, and you must get used to the character's constant backflipping when you press down on the joystick. Still, the movements are very natural, and the combos are a breeze to perform. And I got a 5 for sound. Even when the sound is absent, it's pretty damn scary. Howling, weird grunts, insecticide.
Dissonance?
Insecticide.
That I don't think that's a word.
Insecticide buzzing. Insecticide?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never heard that word.
And from that he probably looked up that word and just
That's
decided
true.
It was a great review.
It didn't Wikipedia though, because that wasn't a thing.
Nope.
Buzzing and
Dictionary.
pitiful moaning all put creatures sounds over the top, and then it got a 5 out of 5 for fun factor. Creatures is a tough game, but one that rewards you with some nasty gameplay, ferociously wild moves. If you've always wanted to kick evil in the ass, here's the game for you. And that
Kyle
was-
played it, or at least knew the cheat code.
So, yeah, Kyle says, I remember this game had a code which caused the character you're playing to bend in half backwards at the waist. They screamed in pain when you put it in. It was creepy. That is wow. That is horrifying.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
So they have another game that came out. I don't have a video for this one, but I don't think we'll need it because we all remember it quite fondly. It was called Parappa the Rappa.
Hey.
They reviewed that
Oh,
one.
and now kick punch block.
Now they gave that out of graphics. What do you think they gave it out of 5 for graphics?
If they gave the other one 5, I think this for Parappa the Rappa maybe like a 3.
I'll say 3 or 4.
Every time I try to do a guess thing, people either get it exactly right or just go way opposite. Yeah, that's exactly right. 3. But I mean, come on, like
Yeah.
stylistically, Parappa like was way better than the Nightmare Creatures,
Yeah.
just because it was trying to push graphics.
Yep.
Parappa wasn't. It was stylized.
It was pushing
Yeah,
gameplay
so-
more than graphics. Actually.
Exactly.
But man, that first time you go back to try and play Parappa,
Yeah.
that was a rough culture shock.
Yeah, although I had one of the demo discs that they used to get. From
Yeah, like Pizza
So I
Hut and
played
stuff, yeah.
the karate thing so many times. I could still do it.
Nice.
So it wasn't much of a culture shock for me, but I love that game.
So for sound, they obviously gave them a 5. For control, they gave it a 4.5, and then for fun factor, they gave it a 5. So they didn't give any explanations with those, but I took some of the review out. It says, at first, Parappa the Rappa looks like a kid's game with awful graphics and stupid tunes.
Rude.
Really. But after spending some time with Parappa and his homies...
Oh, hell.
A kid's game when games were mostly made for kids.
Can you imagine?
Drunk it.
Ari, just how quick you're at... Oh, hell no.
For the homie.
Anything with rapping and automatically made reviewers put in as much black culture words as they
With his
possibly could
homies,
back then.
you'll be busted in a cap now. You'll find yourself rapping along like a pro.
Like a pro, because Eminem played Parappa the Rappa, and that's why he is.
The music...
Eminem is who you jump to.
The music...
Surprising.
The music for this game is really top-notch. The melodies are funk phenomenons, and the raps are so silly they'll make you laugh in spite of yourself. Parappa the Rappa is the kind of inexplicable game that you have to own, even if it's just to take to a friend's house who might find the concept unbelievable.
Okay, that last part I agree with.
100%. That sounds exactly like
The rest
Guitar
of the
Hero.
review was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
That first paragraph was just
Horrible.
cringy. So cringy.
Parappa and his homies. Does he ever call them his homies in the game?
No.
No.
I don't think he does.
No.
Pretty sure he doesn't.
They spent most of their time doing kung fu and rapping.
Yeah, they didn't have time to be.
Stereotypical.
Yeah.
That's true. So that's it for that little thing that I thought would be fun to do. I guess, do we have time? Yeah, let's do it real quick. What we've been playing, I got sucked back into PUBG. I got a 7.1 speakers, like not speakers, headphones.
Nice.
And that completely changed how I play that game because like sound is super important. So I got sucked back into that. But I have been playing Evil Within, the first one, because I really want to play the second one. And I gotta tell you, that game is phenomenal. It's really, really good. It's weird, like kind of Japanese dialogue a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? Like where it gets kind of like I can't even give an example, but I've been having a lot of fun with it.
I know exactly what kind of dialogue you mean.
You know what I mean. Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example, but it's just like not necessarily bad translation, but just I don't think anybody would ever say that in that situation kind of dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ari, what have you been playing?
Skyrim.
No kidding. Skyrim. Nice.
I actually
Shameful.
let me finish.
Yeah, let her finish. Don't stop bashing Skyrim. What does Skyrim ever do to you?
Yeah, well, we can
Just
have
not
that
been that
argument. That's just your opinion, and you can be wrong. It's fine. But I also had a friend who I used to play League of Legends, and I decided to try it again because it's a new season. So I was like, let me just see what new changes there are and like what skins. But no, basically Skyrim.
Nice.
Yeah, you hopped in the league at the biggest change in like 3 to 4
I was
years.
like, what the hell? Like I haven't played in a long time.
This is the perfect time to hop in because you're right where almost everyone else is.
Pretty
like
much.
mechanics wise, you're getting beat, but what you're supposed to be doing, everyone's
It's
having
totally
to relearn
different now.
stuff.
I was like, I don't remember this. This is a whole different game now. A lot of people, even like Reddit one, I've been calling it League of Legends 2 because of how much they've changed.
They
everything.
changed a bunch, but they needed it.
I actually forgot to mention I've also been playing Final Fantasy VII, which is so difficult to get through. It's such an old game, man. It's so
It didn't age
old.
well.
It did not, and the
not
story's
the same.
great though. I love the story, except the dialogue. Again, this is like that is bad translation. That is
You don't like Barrett calling his friends the homies?
That's right. Doesn't he do that? I forgot about that. Yeah. No, it's hard. It's the gameplay is difficult, but yeah.
I think the last time I was on here, you were talking about trying Final Fantasy VII again.
Yeah, I'm gonna push through it. I really wanna. I wanna play it. So, what about you, Lewis?
1 second to respond to Kyle. Funny enough, that happened to me with Overwatch.
So Kyle says I hopped into League and got called multiple slurs within 15 minutes. Oh, League.
That's
I have a very girly name on League, so you can talk
no
to
one
me
has
about
called me the N-word on League in quite a while.
Wow.
But they have called
And sometimes they have figured out I was black. And I really was dumbfounded because like I was ruining this dude's day because I kept like ruining him in jungle, and I would just find him and kill him on my way to do things that weren't killing him. And he just like out of nowhere was like, "Are you?" I don't know if I can say it words.
No.
Let's not do that.
We'll say fuck, shit, all that stuff. But yeah.
I was just gonna like, "Are you N-word?" And I was just like, "How did he know?" Is this our play style? I love that I was like, "Is this what we do in this game?"
I love that you immediately jump to how did he get to that conclusion and not bitch? Because that's what me.
I've been playing games like my whole life. Eventually, someone's gonna call you the N-word, even if you're not black. So that's.
I remember
happen.
after the podcast, I think it was Brandon and Tristan. We tried playing Jackbox, and I usually don't get griefers on that when we do the live stream. And these guys were dropping the N word, they were dropping the F word. They were not fuck, but the other F word, and
going way over for no reason.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to necessarily piss us off, but I told them like, hey, that's not cool. Like we don't talk like that. Just So we had to restart the game a couple of times, and then they started attacking me, which usually people will just be like, oh, you're gay hair, gay, and they attacked me with something that I've never had heard as an offense. They called me a gay looking Will Wheaton. Like, look at this gay Will Wheaton wop over here. I'm like, I'm not Italian. Wrong slur. Gay wop Will Wheaton. Like, I'm like, I mean, usually people are like, hey, you look like Will Wheaton. I'm like, yeah, I know, I get that all the time. It's like, you gay ass Will Wheaton. I'm like,
that's out there.
Okay. But
2017 is a different fucking place.
Yeah.
Entirely.
So, what have you been playing?
Too much League. Because all the new changes and stuff, but I don't care. It's super fun. Why don't you also give me your League username? Because I've asked you like several times, and every time you have you? Was I drunk when you asked me? No, you were sober. Oh, then I just feel really bad. Then. Well, after this, you're gonna have to give me your League name. I will give it to you right after this. Okay. I promise. That's what she said. The .hack.gu re-release came out, so I've been playing that. Whoa. Did you miss that? I need to.
Whoa,
that was
further earlier. Absolutely. Yeah. Wait. Whoa. Hold up. Throw it in reverse for thirst. They like full redid .hack.gu. Oh, so yeah, all the character models are like super pretty. Like we can show you like the comparison screens. It's super pretty. Right now, like I can leave here. It's out on PS4 and Steam. Yeah. So if you want to know, it's out. It's been out since last week. So I've been ruining my free time getting to that's why the third game. I'm not going to touch that until I know I have like maybe like spring when it's like slow. One good thing about it is you can do a cheat mode that auto levels you to 50, gives you a bunch of gold, gives you. I mean that's not that's part of the fun. But you don't have to do it for all the games. If you just want to get through like the first game, so you can get through the slower setup and everything. I still I love the grind. Like it was a fun grind. For me, I've recently played. Go on. Yes, I've been sober, Derek. You rude. Derek Hunter in chat says Lewis was sober. Any else to say, friends? Hi, Derek. Hi, Derek. You mean man. Why wouldn't you tell me it was out? I thought we were cool. I mean, first you avoid me and you won't tell me your League username, and then you're like, oh, by the way, I didn't know I was supposed to be updating you on. Like I got Bandai Namco. Me telling you like a week late that .hack came out. That's really important. I had a whole weekend. I could have been playing it, Lewis. I could have been playing it. I can't wait to watch this video later because Lewis is just inching further and further away. You gotta understand, he's gonna be I'm off slightly the camera eventually. But I recently played one because I have the games on PS2. I was playing through one and then I stopped to do something else. So when I heard this was announced, I was like, awesome. Not going back to that. I used the cheat mode to just blaze through the first game, and it still took a while, even though you're literally killing everything with one hit. It still took a good bit because of how much voice acting those original games had. I wish that they would redo the original game, then I would just like quit life and just do that. The original quadrilogy, whatever. Quadrilogy. Yeah, that did not age well. They'd have to remake that from scratch. They wouldn't be able to just upgrade that. No, that has to be made from scratch. We live in a time of so many different remakes, though. That if this has enough
pool and enough people
Yeah, that's what
buying
I'm
it,
saying.
they
Maybe
might,
this
but,
is testing the water to see if
Everybody
we're ready
go
for...
buy 3 copies. Do
I mean,
it for Ari.
you know, Persona just showed that JRPGs can sell extremely well. So maybe they're releasing this and being like, "Hey, if you buy it,
JRPGs
then
have
we'll."
been selling extremely well without
I know.
Persona.
I know. Well, okay. Final Fantasy 15 didn't have remarkable numbers.
It did
wasn't a
not,
good
but
game.
15 was
It's a
very
JRPG.
enjoyable.
It was not a good game.
Danganronpa is kind of a niche kind of thing.
Danganronpa's a niche.
I love
Yeah.
it.
But other JRPGs are still flourishing over here.
Name some other than Pokemon. Other than Pokemon.
I mean,
The one that beats the crap out of every other JRPG in most American games.
What?
Sure. Pokemon sells ridiculously well.
No, I know, but that's because of the Pokemon.
Xenoblade sold well.
How well? Scribe, we need the numbers on Xenoblade.
Please.
I mean, the Tales games are still...
All the Tales games are
they're
still
more
selling
niche,
well.
But
Then, I
they-
mean, that's
niche,
what I'm
but
saying.
they're
These are all
selling well.
niche,
They
but
do
Persona broke the niche, barrier, and that's what I'm saying. I'm
Dark
like,
Souls is still a JRPG,
yeah.
as is Bloodborne. Yeah, that's all coming from Japan.
Fire Emblem, definitely.
Fire Emblem selling well.
yeah.
The Pokemon competitors still had enough sales well over here to come out with another sequel.
But that style, though, I'm saying
that
that
card?
style, like the traditional RPG rather than
Turn-based?
action-based. Yeah.
You're gonna be
Oh,
playing
you're
it
saying
forever
full-on
style.
turn-based? Persona's one of the few that still makes those other than Pokemon.
Yeah, a lot
Most
of them
people
moved from
either
it.
don't still make it or they do something else. Dragon Quest sold well the last time they come here. I mean, every Dragon Quest game sells well.
Yeah,
But
I'm just saying, like, I think that Persona opened that door to say, hey, look, this is a 10 out of 10 game. This game is amazing and all that. And it allows publishers to kind of test the water. Be like, okay, if you like Persona, let me see if you would, how they would respond to the dot hack thing.
Well, it's
How's the
also-
following
Well-
there?
People were waiting so long. Like, the fan base for Persona alone is huge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people were waiting
They
so
were waiting
long
a
because
long
whenever
time.
a Persona game does come out, they
buying.
come fully prepared.
But that's
to
most
deliver
Atlas games.
everything.
But you could say the same for, like, Nippon Ichi games are still getting sales over here enough that they don't even care when they try. Like, they're just like, okay, we'll throw it over there. And those games are beyond niche. Like,
Oh,
this.
yeah.
There's never not going to be people buying JRPGs on this side of the water. It's more which ones Japan feels like sending over here because they don't have to.
That's true.
To get sales. They have games that
It actually
are
costs
more
money, too, to
American-based.
localize it.
Yeah.
To localize. And like, Xseed just doesn't care. They're like, yeah, we'll localize it if our fans want it. Whereas Bandai Namco's like, we'll localize everything except one game y'all want. You'll get everything else. Square Enix is just if we feel like it.
Yeah, they're definitely on that.
Atlas, for the most part, they'll translate over anything. There's a few things that they've made that hasn't come over, but pretty much everything comes over here.
So Xenoblade Chronicles eventually reached almost 200,000 units by the end of 2013. That is not remarkable.
I was gonna go for
Yeah.
X.
By
not
the way,
Chronicles.
I also...
I was gonna go for X, not Chronicles, because Chronicles went on Wii with a late release when the Wii was pretty much dead,
Gotcha.
and was
also very
selling for 70, or at least you could resell it for 110 when it first came out because it was limited copies.
That's like my Fire Emblem game. I bought it for 35, and it's the rare 2012.
No.
Radiant Dawn is the rare 2012 release, and that's going for like 135 now.
I will give you on the games waiting. We had to petition to get Xenoblade Chronicles over here.
Wow.
Yeah, that definitely
they-
wasn't just gonna come over.
Because they just didn't think they had any reason to. They didn't think anybody was buying any more games on Wii U like that, especially a game like that.
Gotcha. Also, before we move on to 20 questions, I just realized we were talking earlier about how Lewis is pretty quiet. Get him talking about JRPGs. And wow, you're loud, and it's good. I love it. Like,
trying to
you're
be loud
so
the whole
passionate.
time,
You're so
but I'm like,
passionate. But
I
then
feel like I'm being loud, and then I'm like, I'll watch an episode. I'm like, no, I wasn't loud that whole
but
time.
look back on this episode and you're talking about JRPGs and it just comes out of you. It's awesome.
I'll
man.
just think about JRPGs and I'm talking about
Yeah,
everything.
you get really
Do you
passionate.
not?
Other things I'm super hype about, like if we talked about Wolfenstein, like most shooters, I'm super hype about. Platformers, but nothing like that's coming out except Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
that came out.
It's doing well.
Yeah,
I'm happy
things that
for it.
came out, Lewis.
Oh my god! I will update you on every Horizon Zero Dawn DLC came out, and it's doing great from what I'm hearing.
That's true. And then there's also the Monster Hunter one that they were talking about.
That's not out yet.
We
I know,
got
that's
we
the
got to
one.
move on to video game 20 questions. We're gonna go a little bit over time. That's fine because I think you guys are gonna get this pretty quickly. I really do. Video game 20 questions is where they will have 20 questions to figure out using yes or no questions to figure out what game I came up with. Not right before the episode. Actually, I planned for this one in advance. So start.
Does it have a notable main character?
How would you just like if you could elaborate on notable?
Just like Duke Nukem, Dante from Devil May
Yeah.
Cry, are they really
Yeah,
well known for?
I think that's fair. I think it's fair to say yes.
Did it come out after 2001?
Yes. January 1st, 2001. Yes.
All right.
Is it a shooter?
No.
Okay, narrows it down.
Is it an action game?
Yes. Oh, I gotta make chat go away because after 10 questions, chat, you can help them out with a question, and if it's good, I will take it out of chat and I will put it in their ears with my words.
Did it win Game of the Year?
Oh, I didn't look that up. Oh, whoops. That's
I wouldn't even know if it won Game of the Year.
Right?
Do they use a sword? Can they use a sword? Sorry. Either one works.
Sort of.
Okay.
Sort of, but and be careful with that.
Okay, got it.
Sort of.
You got one, Ari?
I'm trying to think. The sort of kind of threw me off. Like
My bad.
Like you either use a sword or you don't.
That's why I tried to change it to a can you.
I don't want to throw you guys off. I believe it's technically you use a sword. Technically.
Is it a part of a series?
Yes. It is part of a series.
Is any of it in space?
Yes, I believe so.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're not sounding confident, so it's not making me feel confident about what
I think so. I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
In space, kind of uses a sword. After.
Are there lasers?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a good idea of what it is, Lewis?
I got an idea, but like I could also be tricking myself into that idea,
It's
so
possible.
I don't want to jump on it right now.
Is there a notable female character?
Yeah. I guess you can. Yeah.
She was gonna ask that question no matter what it was.
That
as
will
much-
always be my question every podcast.
As much as the male character. Yeah.
Ooh.
Like I wouldn't. Okay, so I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. I wouldn't say that this is when you say notable, I wouldn't say it's as much as like Duke Nukem or Mario or Sonic or anything.
Oh, okay.
But it is notable in the gaming community.
Okay.
Like it's not like the dude from I don't know, video game. That guy from the video game, you know what I'm talking about.
The two-armed man.
Is
Yeah,
it
that guy.
exclusive to Xbox?
No. That's 10. So I will look through chat and see if they can help you, but keep guessing questions.
I was going down what I'm 100% sure was the wrong
Just to
idea.
try to play the elimination game.
Yeah. Should I ask if it was exclusive to any console first?
Well, we'd have to ask, is it exclusive to this one, exclusive to that one? That's
No, I could just ask if it was exclusive to a console. If it was multi-console, he would have just said no. Is it on PC?
No.
Okay. So, more than likely a multi-release, but
Was it
we don't even know
fantasy?
it's
No, we
console.
said space, so don't do that one. We said space.
I mean, it could have been Face Fantasy, which, boy, oh man, you were opening up holes.
Yeah,
holes
we
I
were
didn't
literally,
need.
we were already in the middle of like Pandora and then the vaults and everything. We were everywhere.
I don't want to fail at 20 questions.
Was there multiplayer?
No.
Okay. Did it have a sequel?
Yes. That's 13.
Space, actiony, sequel.
I wouldn't focus on that space thing. I really don't want you. I
were
feel
gonna go
so
off
bad.
plan
I feel
completely.
so
It's
bad.
more
I don't
just-
want you
I
getting
don't-
distracted by
I
space.
was thinking of games where they definitely don't go to space at all.
Yeah.
I would just put that out of your mind.
Okay.
Was it a platformer?
No.
Okay.
I feel like you can go down a bad path.
Got it.
Focusing on space.
I'm already down a bad path.
Was it on PS2?
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's 15.
Oh man, this is getting rough.
And you'll have 4 questions, and then I will give you a question that will help you.
Oh God.
Check
Me and
chat
Ari
again.
do not work well together on
It's
these.
not that we don't work well together. We're just trying to narrow it down.
Still no questions that are helpful.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. All right, you got this. I'd say just ask general video game questions. Narrow down, like, what kind of game it is, gameplay mechanics.
That's what I did with the platformer to see if it was that kind.
Did it have a combo system?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure it does. If memory serves.
Was it open world?
I would not call it that, although maybe some people would, but I don't think it technically would be. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't technically call it that, but
If it was just open areas, then
like
that
yeah,
would
I'd
be
say
overworld.
yeah with that.
Okay. Because I wanted to see like if it was like specifically in a place or if it was more of like you know go around.
No, it's not really like that.
Action
Yeah, 2 more
on
questions.
PlayStation 2. Nothing
What year
much.
after did you say it was?
2001.
Fuck.
I mean, we know it was on PlayStation 2, so even if it was remade, it's not super far ahead in time. Like, it's not anywhere close to 2017, so it's back in that region.
I hate 20 questions.
No, you
21
don't. You
questions.
love it.
I don't agree with that right now.
Oh, okay. Mark has a decent question. If you want to use it, I think it's. It might help.
We'll take it. Thank
Yeah,
you, Mark.
it might-
Please, Mark.
Thank you very
Save us
much.
from ourselves.
I mean, it's not the best. It's not going to give you a tremendous amount of information, but I think it's helpful.
We're already
We are
shooting
drowning
shots in
here.
the dark.
We will take whatever lifesavers we get.
Right?
Now I'm like
Did
debating
someone
on
in
whether or
chat
not.
already guess it?
No.
Okay.
I'm debating. Whatever. I think it'll help enough at least. Do any of the playable characters have voice lines? Yes.
Oh, okay.
I know that that's not like.
That still helps.
Yeah.
All right, we got,
I got
two
one
more.
question, and
Oh,
then
we
I
got
will
one
throw out a question
question
that
till
will
the-
help.
You only got one shot.
One opportunity to seize everything you
Okay.
ever wanted. Oh yeah. I'm like, what are you doing with your hand? I was looking right at it. I'm like, why are you gonna hit me?
So much
No.
M&M at this table.
Right.
All right,
Oh my
you
God.
got this. Come on, guys, you got this.
You say that because you know the answer.
I do know the
Can
answer.
can we ever do a segment where we?
I
do that
would
and
love
you-
it because I would crush all of you at 20 questions.
Bull.
Oh, not bull.
Gonna hit you with the most obscure platform ever.
Dude, before the record was beat at like 5 or 6 or whenever you guys did that, I had the record at 8.
I would choose like business management simulator all fucking day.
Did it come out before
Farming
1970? All right, one question.
It's gotta be you, Ari, because like my question is super stupid and it's just stuck in
My
head,
questions
so
are
it's
super
useless.
stupid too.
You're not beating the stupidity and the
Okay.
horribleness of my question.
I'd say just ask a general video game question.
We want to ask
the main
overly
character
specific
die?
things.
Oh man.
I'm talking permadeath.
Permadeath?
Like, he ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3. Permadeath.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that threw me for all.
So the last question will come from me, and I will use it like this. Are there? This is just gonna give it away, though.
Do it.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna give you a less giveaway question because I feel like if I do what I originally thought, it would just give it away completely.
Why do you want to hurt us?
Can you use?
Because now you're asking me a question. I'm like, well, I don't know.
Well, no, I'm gonna say it and then I'm gonna give you the answer.
Oh, okay.
You know what? We gotta wrap this up anyways. Are there licensed characters in this? Yes. Are there licensed characters in this
I know,
game?
but I'm not sure. No.
Well, now you just gotta guess.
Lewis first, because I took the last question.
Bruh, I got no idea what.
You have to. I took the last question.
All right, so let's go over what we knew. It's a game that came out for PS2. You have a sword, kind of.
Is it Kingdom Hearts?
It's Kingdom Hearts.
I did it! Fucking I got one!
Good job.
Yes. Okay. You were like, it has like a sword. And I was like, it's not a gun blade.
I'm like,
And I sat there, I was like, well, I'm out the game, bro, because I was going Star Wars, and I know it's not Star Wars.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Stay away from space because I mean, you go into space. You go to space and you fly
I
around.
should have focused on the space. I would have focused on the ships.
What?
When you told me not space, I thought maybe they just ended up in like one weird platform for a boss
No.
fight.
But I mean, that's not. Is that really what you remember from Kingdom Hearts, though? So.
Bruh,
Yeah.
I remember most things.
It was
Yeah,
action.
when you said the sword thing's what threw me, because I'm like, you can kind of use a sword.
No. I mean, you use a sword, but I mean, like technically that's a blade, but it doesn't look like a sword.
He
like,
doesn't use it the way it should be anyway.
Yeah, like it's
He uses it like a key. He's trying to open these people.
Yeah. Action role playing developed and published by Square. It's PS2 exclusive. Came out March 28th, 2002. Kingdom Hearts.
Yes!
Why didn't I ask if it was also a role-playing game?
So I mean, that was the other question I was gonna ask. I was gonna say, is it? Can you use magic in this game? But I feel like that would be too broad. And I'm like, you know what? We're going over time anyways. We've got to wrap this up. And I knew you were gonna get it with that one.
Oh yeah.
right.
I was thinking Kingdom Hearts, and I was like, no.
Good job, Ari.
Good job.
Yes!
Good job.
Take that, Jacob.
So that does it for us, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We do this every Sunday on Facebook.com/Downright Fierce Gaming. We record live, and we also release new episodes every Monday on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, and Stitcher. If you missed the live recording, you can subscribe on YouTube.com/Downright Fierce Gaming to watch all of our videos on demand and our extra content. Follow us on Facebook.com/Downright Fierce Gaming, Twitter @DRF Podcast, Twitch.tv/DRF Podcast, where actually I've been doing some more streaming. Snapchat @DRF Podcast. I posted a picture today. That was pretty cool of me. You could buy a t-shirt if you want from teespring.com/Downright Fierce. We also sell posters. If you want to help us get better chairs, get better stuff, you can go to patreon.com/Downright Fierce, and what that gets you is that gets you all of our bonus content 1 week earlier before everybody else, and it also gets you thanked at the end of the episode. So we want to thank Mark Mayfield. Thank you very much, Mark Mayfield.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We also want to thank Jeff Knight. Gracias, Jeff Knight.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
We also want to thank Brian Altano, Damon Hatfield, and MC Lars for letting us use their music, and our executive producers Brian Kaminsky and Andrew Kirkendall. Face
Thanks,
kicker.
y'all.
Thank you.
Hey, make sure you kick possums because their teeth are made of weed.